It was an amazing, Emmy-worthy week on Bold and the Beautiful. We're going to talk about it next.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
You all know I love this song so much. Yes, the clapping. I love it. Welcome to the Bold Breakdown, the Bold and Beautiful After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. I am your host, James Lott Jr. You know who I am. And if you're new to the show, now you know who I am. Oh my God, it was a great week. I can't wait to talk about it. I just love this song so much. And as Heather Tom said when she was on here, she wants to add lyrics to it. So it's kind of funny to laugh about that. Last week, I want to thank you guys for the record number of views I got on YouTube. You guys made me so happy. I'm glad you guys are sharing it. I've been sharing with all the Facebook groups I can that are Bold and Beautiful related. You guys have just been so wonderful. The comments that you're sharing with me, and I just thank you so much. I love doing the show, and I'm glad you guys are with me. Hopefully you grabbed a drink and you're joining me here today. On our Facebook page is the Bold Breakdown. If you've not been there, go there. Show people it's there. Talk about it. Like the page. If I get to 700 likes, we're getting close, I will give away a prize. I have all kinds of goodies from Bold and Beautiful. So let's do that, please. Share it to everybody and give everybody a chance. Now, this week was so wonderful. But before we get into that, of course, I do my Lot in Los Angeles, my segment where I focus and showcase and show you something that's part of Los Angeles. And actually, I have this company's products. I couldn't find any of them in time of the show. I have a t-shirt and a bag. I don't know where they are. And I'm the super organizer, and I can't find my own bag and t-shirt. I saw it recently. I don't know where it is. But they're called Johnny Cupcakes. I'm going to show some pictures of them and their logo. The logo is really funny because it's a muffin on top of bones, like skull and crossbones, but the muffin on top, not a skull. And they are here in Los Angeles. They have a brick and mortar store on Melrose Avenue, which is a famous street here of shopping here in Los Angeles. But you also go to johnnycupcakes.com for all their kinds of things. Their concept is, I'm going to show you a couple pictures of the inside of their store. It's like a bakery, but it's for clothes. It's for clothes, it's for accessories, it's for belts, belt buckles. It's so much fun. You can go and you see this picture. It's set up like a bakery with the bakery racks and the display cases, and it's so much fun. They have ovens. We're gonna show another picture too where I think that's what the ovens are. And they give you these cute little bags. They look like lunch bags to take home with you, or like donut holders. It's so cute. There you go. It's again display cases. The store is really cute. But their concept is it's like a bakery. That's their concept. And they have great stuff. That's Johnny Cupcakes. And that's here. They have a store here in LA. And there you guys have the logo I love so much. And they have all kinds of accessories. Like I said, I have a bag and a t-shirt, and I got my grandson a couple of buttons, and he loved them. And it's fun. And they're not really that expensive. There's a lot of fun there. So there you go. So Johnny Cupcakes here in Los Angeles, or johnnycupcakes.com. Okay. We have some clips today, too, of course. You guys love the clips. I got some clips. We're going to do it. But this week, we're going to start with Monday and Tuesday. I just want to tell you, my performer of the week, and I said this online, is John McCook. And I'll give a close second to Jackie McInnes Wood and Rena Sofer, their performances. And then also I'll give Windsor Harmon credit because I just love seeing Thorne back. There's so much going on. So Monday, we had the wedding. Perez Hilton was still there as the officiant, as Father Murphy, I think his name was. Kind of funny. But Eric and Quinn actually said, okay, let's not get married. Your family's not here. They're very important to you. They're not here. Ivy was there, of course, his niece. But no one showed up. They boycotted the whole family said no and did not show up. He said, let's get married anyway. It's okay. So they got married. They actually went through the wedding. And Father Murphy performed it. I was there. First of all, that cake looked good. It was like a 10-layer cake. It looked so delicious. I'm not even a cake person, but it looked good. I was like, I'm in. I'm all in. Meanwhile, the families at Forrester Creations all conflicted. Rich and Steffi are just completely like, no, we made the right decision. While everybody else is kind of like, oh, we should have done it. Everybody's having second thoughts. Felicia's already gone. I'm like, why did they get rid of her already? You could never have on one more. I wish Felicia was there. That's one of my rants tonight. You know, I like to do my rants on these soaps. Why wasn't Felicia still there for the aftermath? See, I mean, Leslie Kay can act, so I don't know why they couldn't schedule her just like at least 1 or 2 more days on the show. Because it was good having Thorne there, but at least having Felicia there would have been also an extra added bonus. And, Michelle D, I agree with you. Because you guys are my co-hosts. I will be reading it here and see what's going on. Everybody says they love Thorne. I know Thorne is, I'm so glad to have him back on the show, for at least for now. Yeah, they were engaged like for a day. Michelle D, that's true, they were. I see my folks in here, Nikisha Jones and Rodell and Taylor Jones, Amber's baby, Gisela, Michelle. I love you guys are in here. So now Ivy goes to the Forresters. She stayed for the wedding, congratulated them, and then went back to the Forresters. And she was like, you guys abandoned him. And then informs them they still got married. Yep. Now, Amber's baby, you're saying you think Eric asked too much of the family when Quinn hasn't even proven herself yet. Interesting. Okay, that's a different point of view. Leslie K is a goddess. I agree with you that. Yeah, where was Taylor? Taylor wasn't there. Brooke hasn't been there at Mother Rant. Where's Brooke and RJ? That's his grandfather. And that's, they weren't anywhere either. So, yeah, I can agree with that. Eric was looking at the fanny pictures. I like that. Looking at the fanny pictures, a lot of fanny pictures, and he was so hurt. John McCook's face, he totally embodied just being disappointed with his family. And then he looks at the paper that Carlton, so wrong person, that's Family Matters, that Carter needed the power of attorney that had Rich Forster's name, this Post-it note on it, and he looked at it. So we're assuming he signed it, because the way Carter saw later, I don't know what happened there. He looks at the paper. Ooh, and then Eric did something that I was kind of shocked that he did. He replaced Stephanie's portrait. That portrait that watched everybody when they walked through the room. Those eyes went everywhere. I love that portrait. I was like, Susan Flannery, I hope they're paying her every day when they show that portrait. It was kind of crazy. But now it's taken down as a portrait of the new Mrs. Forrester Quinn. I was like, ooh. And did you guys notice that Stephanie's portrait was all with a black background and Quinn's portrait was all with a light background? I don't know if that means anything. Mm-hmm. So you guys agree there was disrespect. So some of you guys agreed that it was disrespectful to Eric not coming. It was great seeing Carter back. I love seeing Carter back. He's great. And on Tuesday, it was the aftermath. Tuesday was morning in bed, breakfast in bed, and then when he hands her water, there's a beautiful necklace in it. I'm afraid to put my jewelry in water. I don't want to ruin my jewelry. It was like expensive jewelry. They were sitting in water. I was like, I don't know about that. But no, it's just a beautiful, beautiful necklace she had. Meanwhile, we have Ridge, Pam, Thomas, Steffi, Rick, Maya, Zendi, and Wyatt all worried because they have not heard from Eric, and Wyatt hasn't heard from his mother. That's when the infighting started to happen. I had a good laugh over that. Thorne was just like, it didn't change a thing. We made a huge mistake. Maya and Rick started feeling bad about it. Zenny started feeling bad. Rich stuck firm. I'll give Rich credit. He stuck firm that we took a stand, and that's that. That was it. They just mentioned Felicia was upset, and she had to go on a plane and leave. She was not upset, I guess. Thorne and Rich get into it, which was great. It was great seeing the main brothers. These are the main ones. Yeah, Rick's a brother too, and I'll talk about that later on in the week when they had three brothers. But these are the two main ones, and they get into it. Thorne's like, we shouldn't have deserted our dad on his wedding day. It was just like the buildup was happening, and the buildup was coming. And then Eric arrives to the Forrester Creations, and he sees Pam first. Oh my God, you guys! Didn't you feel awkward for Pam? Like, she had to get off the phone, and she was like, lemon bar? He was like, no lemon bar. No lemon bar. That's right. Nikisha says, even if you don't like who your family member is marrying, you put aside your feelings for them. I like that, actually. That's kind of true. I like that. I don't like Ridge, but he's consistent. Sarah Renshaw, I agree with you. He's consistent. Him and Steffi have always kind of kept their line. So they don't like her. They don't trust her. I respect that. But I felt bad for Eric, of course. But Pam and Eric are talking, and Eric was like, wait a minute, but you were there. You pretended to be on my side. See, Pam and Charlie were there, and then they left. That's what was crazy. And that's what hurt him so much. He was like, okay, they had a group tantrum, get them all in here. I was like, oh my God. He's like, get everybody in here now. I was like, ooh. Meanwhile, Quinn and Wyatt are kind of, everybody's like in other rooms talking and stuff. So then it becomes Eric versus the family. And I'm going to tell you something. It was like, the next couple of days, he read everybody. I mean, John McCook should submit these episodes, especially Tuesday, and we'll get to Wednesday a little bit later. Submit those for an Emmy reel. John McCook just tore everyone a new one. I won't cuss right now. I'll get close. But tore them a new one. I'll just say that. And at first, the family's standing there trying to apologize, whatever, and Thomas apologizes first, and Eric is silent. And then Zendy says something, and then Maya, then Thorne, and then Ridge. Meanwhile, Eric is turned away and he's silent. He's not even looking at them. Then he turns around. Total soapdom. He turns around. And I see you guys are all agreeing with me too. They're all just like, oh my God. It's amazing. And he looks at Ridge and Steffi because he knows they are the masterminds behind this whole thing. And he goes to Steffi because she's named after her grandmother, Stephanie. Have you not learned anything from her mistakes? You threw us away. He read Steffi like she was just yesterday's news. He told her all about herself. And he went to Ridge and said, "You are my son. You knew this would hurt me. I stood by you. You betrayed me." And the way he said that, his voice inflected at the end, "You betrayed me." And he had tears were coming in his eyes, but he didn't cry all the way yet. Then it cut. And I was like, oh my God, that's Tuesday. I couldn't wait for Wednesday. Oh my God, I could not wait. And you guys are all agreeing with me. I see that Eric was the bomb this week. He needs an Emmy. He should submit that, of course. But I will read that Amber's Baby still kind of says, why should they're acting like what Quinn happened years ago when it happened a couple months ago. You're true on this one, but on Bold and Beautiful, they kind of play with time. These are soaps. They play with time a little bit. But we'll get to Wednesday in a second. But first, just watching these, we're going to show my first clip, you guys. For those of you guys who haven't watched the show's been on almost 30 years. And this is the Bold bring back, because every time I mention somebody, they kind of bring them back on. It's happened 3 times now on Bold and Beautiful. So I'm kind of thinking they're listening to me. Maybe they're watching. Maybe CBS is watching the show, and they're like, "Oh my God, James, he's correct. He's totally right." So here we go. This is Sheila and Taylor, and it's a little scene with these two back in the day.
What am I going to do to keep Brooke from wiping out the entire Forrester fortune? Nothing. And I don't intend to do anything.
Oh, I see. You assume that all of this is a permanent fixture, Taylor? I can tell you from experience it's not. You have to fight for it or you lose it.
You fought for it long and hard, I can't imagine.
I'm not ashamed to admit that.
There's very little you're probably ashamed of.
Miss them. Where are they? They come
What is
back.
that supposed to mean, Doctor? You'd like to crawl inside me, see what makes Sheila tick?
Ooh.
That would be interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is a different meeting today.
Yeah, it's a totally different meeting, isn't it?
I'll make you a deal. You get off your butt and do something about Brooke. And I'll tell you my life story. In the secrecy of therapy, of course.
I don't think you'd do
And she
it.
had a story on
Why
2 soaps.
not? If you betrayed my confidence, I'd sue you for millions. Which just might make it worthwhile.
So I just wanted to show that those two
Anytime
together
you're
were
ready.
playing cat and
Are you ready
mouse.
to do something?
And those of you guys who didn't watch the show, Sheila, groundbreaking storyline, started out as a character on The Young and the Restless. Wreaked havoc there for years. Then they killed her off, and I say kill for you podcast listeners, I'm doing air quotes, killed her. Then all of a sudden she showed up on Sister Soap, Bold and the Beautiful as Sheila. Totally brilliant. And for years went back and forth. Back and wreaking havoc on both shows. Her and Lauren. She married Eric. I mean, it was such, oh my God. I see you guys in here say Kimberly Brown was amazing as Sheila. Eric does have a history with Looney Bins. They need to make B&B an hour. I don't know. I kind of like that they're a half hour. I kind of like that it's a nice little easy soap to watch. And I don't know. I mean, they always talk about the whole hour thing. I'm just not sure. I don't know. Bring back Sheila. But Taylor, too. We love Hunter Tylo. Bring back Taylor. Bring back Sheila. Let's just do this. So that's my bold bring back. I was like, I don't care. I'm going to show that. Now let's go into Wednesday, which I subtitled The Read. Oh my God. It's Eric versus the family. And I have to say, I watched Wednesday 2 times. I went back and watched it again because it was just such a great, to me, it was one of the best well-acted episodes on that show in years. I mean, it was just so good. One, Ridge uses like betrayed is a really strong word. And Eric's like, there is no family. There's no family. He's totally disappointed. So Stephanie's like, Stephanie stands by her ground. We wanted to show you how awful and how we feel about Quinn. And Eric says a line that I was like, oh my God. He goes, you know what happened? You showed me how you felt about me. Ooh. And then Pam says, well, she has a mean streak. And Eric's like, oh, a mean streak. And he totally read her. Because you guys know Pam did some questionable things too back in the day, and he forgave her. Because that was Stephanie's sister, and she did some stuff. And remember, her and Donna had things going on. I mean, there's a lot of things that went on back in the day, and he forgave her. And it's like, okay, there you go. And then Ridge stands in his judgment. And Eric says something that's really true. And, us soap fans, we all know they all have pasts. Nobody's innocent. And he says it. He says what we think. He says, everyone has a history. And I forgave you, right? And he brings up Stephanie, because he brings the whole highly sainted Stephanie. Stephanie was not always a good character, as you guys know. She was not always good. And he says, I had to forgive Stephanie time and time again for her actions too, because that's what family does. Quite. Then he goes to Zendi, his grandson. I like the way that he touches the back of his neck, just like and kind of caresses him in a way like, you're my grandson, I love you. And he says to him, I took you in too. When your mother wanted me to watch you, I took you in. And when he says, I'm disappointed in you, oh my God. If you had a parent tell you they're disappointed in you, it just feels like you just want to I want to curl up in a corner and eat my hair if I was Zendi. And Zendi could tell his face was like sunk. Then he goes to Maya. Yes, the transgender Maya who didn't tell who she was at first, and then all this drama. And he says this, I thought this was so funny. The writing was so on point. Maya, I welcomed you too, and your family, your sisters, your parents, and all the drama. Lots of drama. I was like, oh my God. He read her for filth. He just read her to death. And she couldn't say anything either. Then he goes to Rick, because he ain't done. He goes to Rick. And you think I owe you a favor because you think I favor Ridge. And you need me to make you feel better. And he goes on to say, you ask, and I ask you one thing, and you don't deliver. So that was like, you just get in there. And he said to Rick, I have never disagreed with you. It's like, all right. Then he goes to Thorne. He ain't done. Goes to Thorne. I thought I could count on you because he was the best man. And you don't even know Quinn, which is a good point. He doesn't even know Quinn. You just learn what everybody else says. And he goes, they're lies. And then Stephanie tries to jump in. They're not lies. And he's like, he goes, you don't know. You disappointed me too. Then he goes to Thomas, his other grandson. I was surprised by you the most because normally you think for yourself, but you bought into the mob mentality. It's like, ooh. Meanwhile, Quinn and Wyatt in another room, and they start hearing yelling because Eric starts to get angry because it was a slow build. He's reading each one, but now he's getting to Ridge and Steffi, and that's where it totally starts to really, really get in there. Rick, a.k.a. Trigger Fingers. Yeah, Rick did shoot what's his name back in the day, and there was a whole other story about that. So he goes to Ridge and Steffi. And he brings up what Steffi said, which I remember in Monte Carlo, when she says, I forbid it. You cannot see Quinn, I forbid it. And the way Eric said, he says to you, and you told me, I forbid it. Remember what you said to me? I forbid it. It was all about you. Who are you? And what about second chances? I'm always looking out for you. I was like, oh, he just made her seem so just like selfish and self-centered. And Jacqueline MacInnes Wood does such a great job conveying kind of like she had a little bit of regret in there, a little bit, because she does love her grandfather. They always show this. Yeah, hashtag Forrester family read-through. Yeah. Well, no, Amber, before I get into this Ridge, that's the last one in there, you're right. So I guess Eric's point was that, yes, he had to ask Stephanie forgiveness for things too. And yes, he's married. But the point is, it was about him. He always forgave them for stuff. He always welcomed people into the family. I think that was kind of his point, that he's not perfect either. And I think he would be the first to say that he's not perfect either. You know, so Cheyenne McCoy, why did they have Maya, the black girl, walk into the room first? I know that it's petty. I felt some kind of way. You did, really? I know I'm black, obviously. For you podcast listeners, I'm black. I didn't even think anything about that. I thought it was kind of cool because she doesn't get enough airtime. I think she got some FaceTime, right? Like, this shows more of her because she's a great actress. She should have more. Anyway, that's a whole other story. Then he turns to Ridge. Oh my God! And then when he says, "Stop it," I've been taking care of you longer than anyone else in this room. And then when he goes into when you were a baby crawling around in this room when I was designing, and you were writing all over my sketches, and then I watched you grow and blossom into something where you could actually draw, and you're talented. And then he brought up the Maroney thing. I was like, oh, history, I love it. Because as you know, if you guys don't know this already, you know, of course, Ridge is not really a Forrester by birth. His father is Massimo Maroney, a.k.a. the guy who plays Stefano DiMera on Days of Our Lives. But that's why he goes, it must be a Maroney thing, the arrogance that you have. You and Massimo must have that. And then Ridge was like, I'm not going to let you berate me like this, like you do everybody else. It's wrong, and she's not worthy. I'll give Ridge credit. He was just like, no, MFer, I am not stopping. Like, no. He's like, nope. And Eric's like, I'll decide that. King Ridge does not tell me, we get to tell everyone how I feel or how they feel. And Ridge was like, I don't respect a single thing about that woman. And Eric's like, I'm married now. And then Ridge tries to walk away, and he's like, Ridge, you're not finished. Come here. I was like, ooh. I mean, they both are just like, it's just the two men. They were fighting it out. And Ridge turns around, and he says, we were trying to protect you. Eric's like, you made me feel alone. And then everybody was like, oh, my God. And then he collapsed. And that's when Quinn walks in, and she's like, Eric, oh, my God. And that was Wednesday. So before he collapsed, he read everybody in the room, and got everybody done, and it was just like, oh my God! As you can keep it, Carter's a great and fantastic actress. I want mine to have a storyline. I agree with you guys. And Joe Moscolo, who played Massimo and Stefano DiMera, has retired, so he's not doing any. I wish they could bring him back too, but he's not doing any more of that anymore. So our next thing is my segment, the Bold Soap Other Role, or Bold Other Soap Role. And looking at, Windsor Harmon is such a great actor, and he's done some great stuff as Thorne on the show. Some of you guys may not even know this, but years ago, before he came on to Baltimore, he played Del Henry on All My Children. And you're going to recognize a young Sarah Michelle Gellar. That was her first role as Susan Lucci's daughter, Kendall Hart. And you're also going to notice Jill Larson, who plays Opal. Let's do a little scene here.
It's so good to see a friendly face. You did not tell me they were going to be dated like this.
Just hold your hands high where I can see them, Missy, and keep them up with my friend Dell.
Look how young she looks. This is pre-Buffy.
Would you give Kendall a break?
Oh, well, I would be happy.
Look how young he looks, too.
Let's see, tibia or fibia. You name it, I'll lame it.
Oh, well, she's just trying to make an honest buck, okay?
My part's coming up in a few seconds.
Right this way.
Her section. What, has your train jumped the tracks or what?
Here we go, our best table.
I love it. I love she tosses the menu to Opal.
Today's red snapper, and the soup is broccoli cheese.
Oh, broccoli cheese. Oh, no.
I'll have the chicken Caesar salad, iced tea, and no limoni.
I'll have the, what is it, red snapper?
Sorry for a shot of red snapper.
You just said that was the special.
I would suggest the club combo.
Well, I don't suppose I could get that with the sub and the slaw for steak fries.
No substitution.
I'll have the club combo and a big glass of ice water.
So I just want to show that scene. It was just kind of a fun moment. He played on that show for a while. He was Dixie's brother. There was a whole kidney or liver storylines, and they went on All My Children. May All My Children rest in peace. So he was good on that. So you should use him more. He's a great actor. You should use him more on stuff. So Brittany, you're thinking it could replace Massimo. They could, I guess. We could find an older actor who could really bring a good thing to her. I think they could. I don't think that role was so iconic enough they couldn't replace him. So I agree with you on that. The new Ridge is the hottest of the BBS. So you like Torsten K. Okay. Any Ron Moss fans out there? So holding on to the old Ridge? Oh, yeah, and Jack Wagner is Nick. Right now he's on my other show, When Calls the Heart. She's a little busy right now doing that. Yeah, Winter Harmon looks good. I agree with you, Rodelli. It's good. Okay, so let's go to Thursdays and Fridays, and then I have another little treat for you guys after that, a little flashback. So now Thursday picks up where Eric collapsed. He has shallow breathing. Quinn's fighting to be next to him because that's her husband. Ridge is trying to keep her away. I mean, physically trying to keep her away from him. They take him to the hospital. They get to the hospital, and Quinn tries to see him inside. He's unconscious. And Ridge keeps stopping her. And was like, no, you can't come in. And she's like, no, I have to go. So half the family went to Forrester Creations, and the other half of the family went to the hospital. Oh, yeah, side note, because I did show all my children, rest in peace to Miss Agnes Nixon. So let's say because she was the person who created that. It's a great show there. Yes. So Thorne and Rick are talking. I love seeing this kind of set of brothers talking. I mean, Thorne they kept showing so much of Thorne. I kept thinking, God, you're really missing out on something. Thorne is so good. But he said we should have listened to Ridge. The two younger brothers, it's what their older brothers should listen to Ridge. This is on us. There was not a pre-existing condition. Ridge is like, we didn't cause this. Quinn's like, what's going on? So I like that they had the three sons in the room around their father, and then Quinn. So it was like them. Quinn's the new wife, the new stepmother, so to speak. And them, Ridge and Quinn just like, they're fighting, and they try to stop her from seeing Eric. But that is her husband. She's the next of kin, if you go by that kind of stuff. Then each of the sons had their moment, and this was really cool. Each of their sons had their moment with the father, with Eric. And Thorne and Rick both started to break down. Jacob Young and Windsor Harmon are great actors. It's so good to see them get showcased. Even for a few moments and for a scene, it was amazing, and I'm shocked that John McCook didn't just wake up because they were so good. So it turns out Eric had a brain hemorrhage. He had a blood vessel that kind of burst, and they're stretching it and saying, I used to be a nurse, so I know some of these things, but they're stretching and saying that stress could have been the cause. Because usually there's other causes for brain hemorrhages and stuff, and brain clots and things like that, but they're stretching and saying kind of like the family caused it, so to speak. What's going on? So that was on Thursday. And Friday, there's some really good scenes on Friday. And I have to say, Quinn and Steffi's scenes, and some people mentioned this online with me, their scenes were so good because there was no winner. They're going back and forth, but in a way it was like Eric is still heartbroken and nobody wins. So Quinn didn't try this because Steffi's like, you poisoned him and do tests and all this stuff and everything. I'm like, just like, do the test. It doesn't really matter to me. But he's like, but I love him. And she really loves him. And I love they had a little back and forth too, where Steffi's like, you don't love my grandfather is using it. And Quinn goes, I love him. You know more about love than I do because you've been out of it for so many times. I love that. And then when Quinn says, he made all of you, like, hello. And Steffi and Quinn both are crying. Oh, my God, they were so good. They were so good. Those scenes were so good. Oh, my God. Cheyenne, you say, if I was Quinn, I would be in jail if Ridge grabbed me like that. Sorry, not sorry. I know. When he grabbed her, it was like, no. I was like, ooh, you don't get a chance to grab. You don't grab a woman. Like, you don't do that. I was like, mm-hmm. But she was like, she didn't care. She wouldn't get to her husband. She was like, I wouldn't get in there. But her scenes with Steffi, Jacob Inniswood, and Rena Sofer brought it. They brought it completely. And you can just see everybody's hurt. Like, nobody wins. Everybody is hurt. And I love that Wyatt says to people, I never have seen Eric as happy as he's been with my mother. The folks at FC, Forrester Creations, they got, fill in. Carter was there again. So you got Carter twice this week. Lawrence St. Victor was on our show to be on the show twice this week. It was great. And they decided to go to Forrester, to the house, to grab some stuff for him, make him feel comfortable. And Thomas and Pam go upstairs, and that's when he see the Quinn portrait and go off. And Carter finds the envelope that has the power of attorney and Ridge's name on it, and he looks at it, and he's like, and his face is like, "Oh my God." So, what do you guys think? Do you think he signed it over to Quinn, power of attorney, because he's incapacitated? I think he did. I think he signed it over to, I think it's going to be Quinn. And Ridge is not getting it. He's not giving it to Ridge. He's like, "Screw you, Ridge. You're not getting it. You're not getting it." So I knew that was not it. Quinn says, "I may not be a saint, but what you guys did was worse." And then Ridge and Eric were, sitting there and they're trying to get him to get Eric to come to life. And Eric does come to life when Quinn's name is mentioned. He moves his finger, moves another finger. Then he kind of opens his eyes a little bit. And his eyes are open. He's like, "Oh my God," he's opened his eyes. And then they close again. Yeah, I think you guys agree with me. I think Quinn has, that's how it ended on Friday. I think Quinn has power of attorney. I think that's simply what it is. And Ridge is going to be pissed. Brittany, not that long ago, Liam was the love of Quinn's life. Then 2 months later, it's Eric. Because again, they always play with time here. I think in a way, Eric, she wasn't to Liam, but Eric really does represent redemption. I think Eric really knows, she really knows Eric, and Eric really wants to give her a new lease on life where Liam could have done that. And Cheyenne, I agree with you. Quinn knows more about Eric than his own family because he takes these different medications, and they didn't know, so she knows. And yeah, because she lives with them, and she's been monitoring. My opinion is, I'm won over. I like Eric and Quinn. I think they're good together. I'm actually rooting for them. I think she wants to change, and he is the reason. They say love can change people, and maybe the love it's working. You guys, I don't know. I think so. Now, as a treat for you guys, I'm doing the bold flashback. And I'm bringing this to you guys. It's kind of a fun thing. It's Brooke finds out when Stephanie was lying about her heart attack. This was years ago. And so Brooke knows she's lying, and she's kind of taunting her and talking to her. Let's just show that scene.
So that's what this is really about. You wanting your son. Ever since I met you, I sensed some strange connection between you and Ridge.
They always made fun of Stephanie and Ridge, like an Oedipus complex thing.
That's why you didn't like him with me. Because he was able to be himself, free from you. And you couldn't stand that because you always had to have all of the control. That's why Taylor's not a threat.
One of the best rivalries in the business.
Because she's just an extension of you. Give that to me. Like hell I will.
Yeah.
You couldn't do it your old way, could you? Browbeating, ranting and raving. So you had to do this. You had to fake a heart attack. Oh, bravo. Bravo, Stephanie. 4 months of a lifetime.
Talk about frenemies. These two went back and forth for years.
I don't know, James. This seems like pre-Ratchet
Ready
Tree.
to take
It is, because this is like the 90s or somewhere, early 2000s. So it is pre-Ratchet TV.
Oh, yes, Ridge. I want to recommit my love to you. Oh, yes, Taylor. I do too. Only they didn't know it, did they? But I know.
Oh, this is a flattery.
I see behind your curtain. You lied, Stephanie.
She was holding her purse, though. Like, what's with the purse?
To make the biggest decision
It's a nice
of
purse.
his life about
Yeah, it's her purse. Like, just put the purse down and tell her off.
And you lied. Oh, Ridge. Oh, my God. Help me. I'm having a heart attack. Help me. Help me. Save me.
I'm not fake.
Oh, stop it. I am on to you now, Stephanie. And this hospital? You donated so much money to this hospital,
right.
They should rename it St. Stephanie's Hospital. Doctor, he doesn't want to lose you as one of their biggest donors. Of course not. So he helped you. What, a heart monitor, a ventilator, every prop you could imagine, just so you could fool Ridge into thinking that you were on death's door. Just so that he would commit himself to Taylor. You know what? It worked. My God, it worked. Only until I go tell Ridge the truth myself.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. You are going to get up out of this bed, and you're going to go tell Ridge.
That's right.
No,
You're going to tell him the truth of what you did tonight.
I love it. I love it. So I just want to show that scene, you guys. That was just, oh my God. That's like classic Bold and Beautiful. And Brooke and Stephanie were in so many different situations. Captain Kelly Lang and Susan Flannery had amazing chemistry. And it just, that show was, oh my God, it's just so crazy talk. I loved it back then. They had no shame at all. No shame at all. I love it. I know Susan Flannery she's retired and she's doing fine, but I just wish she'd come back. That's my big, bold comeback, is if she could come back, but I know she's retired. You guys. So that was your edition of the Bold Breakdown, Bold and Beautiful After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. You can follow us on YouTube and on iTunes under the Bold and Beautiful After Show. And you can follow our Facebook page, The Bold Breakdown. And you can follow me at James Lott Jr. on Twitter and actually use the hashtag Bold Breakdown to talk to me, as you guys do during the week, and comment on the YouTube channel, rate us on iTunes. I've been enjoying reading your comments and what you feel. You guys, thank you for being my co-host tonight. You guys said a lot of stuff. Yeah, I forgot they did have the prayer scene where they all kind of came together and prayed. I was kind of over that scene also too. But yes, I will see you guys next Sunday, or you will hear from me next Sunday here on AfterBuzz TV. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.